So I spent a couple of years in New York. I was finishing my master's degree in social work. I was finishing the criteria to be certified as a bioenergetic therapist, and I was still working with the marginalized and disfranchised populations in New York City. Then I flew to New Zealand. Now, the reason I went to New Zealand was I had an opportunity to work in the bioenergetic community that was just being established there. Farrell Irvine was the woman who was starting the bioenergetic community there, and she was being supervised by Louise Frechette. And so I spent my year there basically working as a bioenergetic therapist full time, getting supervised so I could finish the criteria that I needed so that I could be certified as a bioenergetic therapist. As always, I was introduced into a whole new world that fascinated me. First of all, New Zealand is spectacular. It's one of the most beautiful places I've ever seen. The mountains, the nature, the outdoor activities, this whole community in New Zealand, an entire nation of people who their mindset is about living outside. And as I explored that, I discovered that it's the Maori tradition that actually lends itself to this outdoor living. The Maori culture in the South Pacific and their love for the outdoors and their love for all kinds of sports and sport activities, as well as the arts of carving, the art, love, and pride in dancing, and their very refined art of tattooing strongly influenced the New Zealand culture. So from my experience of New Zealand and the Maori culture and the bioenergetic community, I had two takeaways from this that I thought really helped to integrate my experience there. The first one was the wisdom from the Maori culture. The Maori culture teaches that all of life is a team effort and that our strength is not as an individual, but as a collective family. And the next inspiration came from Al Lowen himself, which was so perfect that I read this when I was living in New Zealand, which is such an earthy-based culture itself. He said, grounded individuals are connected to the earth and the natural environment, to their body and its feelings, and to their loved ones and fellow creatures. Literally, the earth is the source and the support for our being, and our body is our home. Now that was powerful, and that was an amazing experience that sort of tied together all that I experienced in New Zealand. Now after New Zealand, I was assigned to go back to the Middle East again, and I was ready to do that. This time I moved to Bethlehem, which is located in the Palestinian West Bank next to Israel, and I worked between the Palestinians and the Israelis.